Oh boy. Hey everybody, good evening. We have no intro video today, but we have a all-star cast. So who needs an intro video when you've got, let's see, who we got in here? We got Dino, we've got Dan, and we've got Nicky B to hang out with tonight. Good evening, gentlemen.
Good evening, everyone.
Hey, Bill.
Hey, well,
Hey, Bill.
it's good to see you guys. We don't get to hang out enough, but the thing is, all three of you have different backgrounds today, and I don't. So I think we should really start with let's start with Nick first. Nick, where are you?
I'm
Are
in
you
my
the
office. I'm
Let's
actually in
go.
my office. I tape my art to the wall, and every once in a while I change it.
Okay. How
So
about you? Well, or let's see. Then Dan. Dan's got. I think Dan's in the same spot, but he keeps changing the art on the walls. How is this
Nice.
possible?
Well, basically, what I do for about 80% of the stuff that's on the wall, they're reproductions. So I don't really go too fancy on the frame. And everything is hung up with Velcro command strips.
wow.
Pulls
Oh,
right off. Hey, check it out. Just came in the other week.
Oath
Is
paid.
that a
Oath cover.
sweet? Yeah,
So
pretty
are
good.
those reproductions of the art that you have, and you put the art that you have in the safe or something?
Or
Or
wish list.
Exactly. It's not even so much for security. The fact is, I used to hang my art on the wall when I first started collecting like 20 years ago, and I started to notice that some of the paper started yellowing. So from then on, I was like, I don't want to hang my art on the walls, not the
mhm.
original stuff. So I make reproductions, and I just swap them out whenever I feel the mood to, and you know, going on the show tonight, figure I better spice up the background.
well, if you ever sell that Spidey 232, once I get my life straightened out, please consider contacting me if I get my
It's
life straightened out in time.
it's going to be a few Jay Lee covers. I'll tell you right now.
There you go.
There you go.
Probably
Quite
more
a
than a
few.
few. Probably more than a few. But that is one of the greatest two-part Spider-Man stories of all time. You know, Hyde versus Cobra. Just that scene where he's punching the chimney and knocking it down was just so fantastic.
Wow. It hides in the Journey into Mystery 105 page that's in the auction.
That is
So
true.
of course, this is the virtual background. I just got back from Vegas Grand Prix and had comic art on the mind all weekend as well. But just flew in about a couple hours ago and here to join everyone.
And boy, are
Wait,
your
so
arms tired.
that,
You know it.
you didn't run into Berkey while you were there?
I didn't. It was jam packed full of events and activities, and I went there with my wife, and we had a great time. Great time.
Yeah, he was
Just miss
complaining about
football.
the. He was
Yeah.
very
Oh,
angry
and I
about
caught a
the
Raiders
hotel
game too.
prices this
I
past
did a
weekend
Raiders
because of the
game.
Grand Prix.
Yeah, no, it was exciting. It was really. I'm a big fan of this stuff. But followed the auction. I thought it was a really fun view, and just really excited to talk about some pieces.
Well,
A lot of ups and downs in the
Oh
auction.
yeah.
there seemed to be some steals, but I'll tell you, there was one piece
Oh.
that I actually had Berkey bid on it because I knew that I wasn't pre-approved to go as high as I was going to go, and
Uh-oh.
it was a grail. It was, I mean, if I had a grail, this was my grail, and I didn't even see it until
Oh
the day
no.
before the auction. So I had to do
Hmm.
some last minute
It wasn't
wrangling.
an elementals. I mean, it wasn't a.
There
It
was
was
not
not.
elementals.
It
But I'll
was
give you a hint. Both Dan and Dino picked
Phoenix.
it.
Good
Yes,
for
it was a
you. Good
bizarre.
for
It
you,
Are
was a
you
Bill.
bizarre
serious?
Adventures
I didn't
28
get it. I didn't
cover.
get it. I didn't get
Oh
it though. That's the
Oh,
problem. It wasn't.
Oh,
no, but that
That's
was
just it. And because here's the thing, when I discovered it, I mean, it was shocking, right? And I talked to Casper at first. I was like, man,
oh Bill,
a
that would have
top
been
five
great for you.
Grail just appeared for me, and I don't really have Grails. I said I literally don't even know what the other four would be because I don't think in terms of collecting as looking for Grails. I just don't. I
Great
mean, I
piece
love
though. At
stories. I
least
love
the
elementals.
Bizarre Adventures 28, right?
Bizarre Adventures 27 cover.
27,
Yeah,
27
27,
cover.
yeah.
and
30 inches long. I mean, a
it was
huge
huge.
piece.
Yeah, exactly. 30
Yeah.
by 20. I mean, I had no idea it was that at that scale, but I
Arguably
mean,
Ulysses' most iconic cover.
Yeah.
Arguably.
without
80.
question. But I mean, I was not thinking 60,000
I know.
with the juice. Now, mind you, right? It would have been like 48. I think was Gavel, and I don't mind saying I was going to go 30. I went 30, just thinking that I could, I could easily sell some stuff to get there. But I thought 30
Yeah.
would have been about where it should have been, right? But it
30
went.
would have been very a steal.
It would have
Honestly,
been a
with the
steal at
nostalgia
30.
there.
Yeah.
All right. Well, that's why you guys both talked. Picked it.
Yeah, I was seriously thinking about that piece too.
I wasn't going
You
to
weren't
go
the only
60
one.
though on it though. 60 would have. Maureen would have kicked me out of the house.
Next
Well,
time,
plus,
promise it, next time you find a
plus,
grail.
it would have been 66 unless somebody went over you. Then it would have been 72. Just keeps going and going.
But the good news for me is I have no grails left to go after because I can't. If I can't afford that one, I got nothing else.
So next time you find a grail, Bill, we'll create a GoFundMe where
when Calf goes public,
when Calf
goes public, you'll be fine.
Yeah.
I don't know about that, but yeah, that's it was. I don't know. I mean, I just did not expect that. But the thing is, it's a very nostalgic image, and yeah.
It's amazing cover. It's an amazing cover. I kind of low key have kept my eye open on that thing for 15 years, looking for it, and I really wish I found it 15 years ago when it was buyable because I love it. Maybe not quite as much as you do, but I totally love that cover. Dino and I both picked it to talk about. But 60 grand is still a lot of money. And it isn't even like mainstream X.
I have one page from that issue. I have one page. I have a Nice Man page. The funny thing is, I came across 2 pages, and I mentioned it to a friend, and he was like, "Oh, come on, let me take one of them." I was like, "All right."
Remember when that came out? It was wild because it was a painted X-Men cover in '81 or something, right when it was
81. Yeah, I bought it at the drugstore.
Early.
I still have my copy.
It looked so different. It looked up there. It stood out on those magazine racks next to Mad Magazine and.
Right, even up against like the Hulk magazines or whatever that were on the same rack. But I know, and I do have have the Cockrum dossier intro pages. Yeah, the recreation of the Phoenix and the Nightcrawler character sheets. So I have that.
That was actually Nightcrawler's first solo book, I think.
It was.
It was.
Yeah.
Iceman had.
I'd love to get a page from that story. All right, Nick, you can have all the Iceman pages by Perez as long as I can get the the Cockrum Nightcrawler pages, and we can let.
I want to graduate to the Phoenix. Pages. I want to graduate to the Phoenix pages. I'll be happy getting one of those.
Oh man, well we've already talked that thing to death now, but we should still look at it to to review that. So I have my customary slide hacked together here at the last minute. But this compares the last 2 years of sales data. So a strong per item per lot figure this time around. But of course the Howard the Lowry collection with several key Frazettas, although there wasn't a huge item. I mean, what was it? 1.75 I think was the highest piece from that set. But still, those lots definitely help skew the overall auction to have a $17,857 average per lot price. But overall things after the dip at the beginning of 2025, even though I'd say the economy has still been a little tumultuous, right? The prices in the comic art market are still pretty strong.
And also remember, many of you know, prior to the comic art, there was this groundbreaking Superman 1 sale, 9 million that Heritage had. It was an attic find, or it was found and graded. It ended up being the highest of a particularly hard, much harder than Action 1 to get it high grade, and it sold for 9 million. I think that the seller of the Superman cover must have been very thankful that all that energy was up.
Oh my gosh, yeah.
I mean, well, I will say it was an incredible auction. If you look at the numbers, you're looking at the average per lot like 50% over what we're talking a year ago. But this was packed with a lot. There wasn't that amazing, 8-figure Frazetta, but there were a bunch of solid ones, a lot of 200,000+ lots. Relatively speaking, the illustration did make a difference. That said, I got to say, I've been following all of the auctions pretty closely, the Cassady, the International, all the weeklies. There is something to be said about the auction fatigue. I am seeing people, at least myself, I'm feeling a little less rich every few weeks following these things and seeing more stuff drop between the cracks. But the event auction was pretty darn strong. The stuff that caught bids really caught bids. And it would seem to me like there's maybe a few buyers out there who only show up to these things because this signature event was really very revitalized compared to every other auction I've seen going on in the last few months. Not that it's been bad, but this auction was good.
Well, I think what's happening. Oh, I think part of what's happening is, and if you look at it, the really expensive stuff, and let's call anything $50,000 or more expensive. You can say 40,000 or more expensive. Anything really expensive is still going for higher price points for a couple of reasons. One, you have people worried about the stock market. First of all, people with money, they see all these pieces coming out and they're like, shoot, this is my once in a lifetime. I got to get this now. Like the Bizarre Adventures 27. That's never going to, it's been in a black hole for the longest time.
40
and
years.
There's never, more likely than not, there's never going to be another opportunity to get it. And there were quite a few pieces like this. But you have people that are cashing out their Bitcoin now that Bitcoin's dropped a little bit. You've got the S&P 500 really just propped up by 10 stocks, 10 companies, 4 of them AI companies, which the second those pop the bubble, you got people pulling their money out. They're having a little bit of fun. And again, people with money, they're going to keep buying no matter what. And I think that's why you saw more $30,000, $40,000 and less art fall between the cracks than normal.
I also felt there was a lot of strength across all the different genres and ages. So you had particularly strong prices for your Neil Adams and your Kirby in the 60s, Neil Adams in the 70s. You have McFarland, Liefeld in the 80s, in the 90s. Miller in the 80s, Byrne again, really strong prices for a few pieces, the X-Men, Wolverine, Daredevil, etc. And then you have the 90s with the McFarlands and the modern art actually did well. And then you have illustration with the crinkles and the fazettas. I didn't see a weak spot. I mean, even if you look at the strength, it went clear across the board as Dan mentioned. Just very impressive for the community.
It was a great show. There's no doubt about it. I mean, a great show. It was a great auction, no doubt about it. And the dollar show, because outside of the Conan in June, this is the highest grossing auction in the last year and a half, I think. So,
yeah, with more lots than normal. I mean, the Lowry collection definitely helped things out. I mean, like you said,
yes.
Like the Krenkels, Dino. There wasn't a stinker or average piece in any of those. I mean, there were so many surprising pieces
curated
that were so good. It was. Yeah, it was very strong. There were some pieces that I thought should have went higher. I mean, I think we're going to talk about a few of those today. But I don't know. I'm with you, Dan. When you mentioned the idea of auction fatigue, I think there's so many auctions that we're missing them. Like if Nick didn't come on and we talk about the Cassaday auction, people might not have known about it. I think Heritage is in a difficult spot because they're having so many of these showcase auctions. And they only get one email out usually for each of them. And unless you start tracking things, you're not going to get notified about them. And I mean, I don't even know what the next showcase one is. They might have a lull here between
February. It's February.
I think there's
February.
I think they're sneaking in a Jim Davies Garfield one. Honestly, this Lowry collection could have been its own little boutique little auction.
That's true.
But they just had a bunch. I think there's just been so many of those. Some significant ones
that followed the Fromont auction, and then we didn't even talk about the international one that came.
And the Cassaday, then this, and then there's I mean, they have a pretty important collection of illustration art that's in early December, I think.
Well, Godzilla page 1 for $10K, Marcus. I didn't see a Godzilla for $10K.
Godzilla. I didn't see Godzilla.
I don't remember that one either. There was a Peach Milko that went high. Yeah. But either way, point being is there's a lot of auctions. I mean, shoot. I mean, we got to.
I think maybe the international auction, there was an Art Adams Godzilla.
Okay.
Yeah, that wasn't one that we went back to look at. But
no, you said Trimpy. Marcus
no, it was a Trimpy. There was a Trimpy in this last auction.
Was there?
I do remember it going strong. Did it really go for 10K? Was it that high?
Wow.
There were a lot of strong results. You know, it really had to be very, very strong to stand out from everything. You know, yeah, there were some weak spots too. But
oh shoot, I knew there was one thing that I forgot to send you, Bill. If you get a chance, there's a JLA cover by Joe Cubert. If we can pull that up,
and that was like 3 minutes before kickoff, right?
Yeah, I know. And now 17 minutes.
Right. And yes, there was a $10,000 Godzilla 8-page where Godzilla was fighting Red Ronin. So nice page, 4 panels, solid. But hey, 10,000. That's
yeah.
You know, I'm gonna have to go out and buy a few of those off Berkey before he realizes they're that valuable. But anyway. So sorry. What was the page you want me to add to your set, Nick?
Yeah. It's a Justice League page, I think. If you put Joe Cubert Justice League, yeah.
It's a Cubert cover. It's with Ultraman, right? The Ultraman one.
Yeah, it's the 3 worlds. Yes.
Yeah. Cool. Very strong result. Great cover though. You know, I love with the little heads running down the side. You love those little crossover ones. I love those.
Now I know why somebody offered me $5,000 for my Trimpy Godzilla #1 page.
There you go.
All right.
I should have did my research. Damn, I said yes.
You should have.
Oh well, stuff happened. I think the guy's gonna love it, so that's the important thing.
So, Bill, do you have picks this week as well? I mean, this time as well.
I did select a few. I did not have enough time to really pull up a lot. So
I know you were talking about last time. Dan should start.
Dan. Top left. Go, Dan.
Let me.
Go, Dan.
I got Dan's loaded up here. Let's have to share the screen, the right screen here. Where are you? Here we go. So we're going to talk a little bit about the Fromm one first. I know, Dan, you picked a few from there, and
I did. I shouldn't have picked so many and focused on the signature, but I love
that is gorgeous.
Collection.
That's a great pick.
You never really see such a well curated collection like Keith Fromm had, and he did it years ago before these things all disappeared. His golden age stuff. It was not the biggest collection you'd find out there, but you're never going to find one quite like this. Now, the night before Comic-Con, a bunch of us went over to Heritage where they had most of Keith's stuff up on display. And this Hit Comics cover stood out from everything else to me. First of all, back in World War II, the sizes weren't exactly set. So this is closer to 14 by 20 than it is 12 by 18. And it's quite sizable compared to most of the art, even from the era. And it's got such a bold image, and it's so clean and so sharp. A collector was there who actually knew Keith very well, and he explained that he got it off of Roger Hill, who in turn got it directly from Lou Fine personally back in the day, and that Roger Hill actually did quite a bit of amateur restoration back in the 80s before there was any sort of standard for this, and that he filled in some of the blacks in the background. Well,
is that why Zadok took it off the wall and everyone looks at it?
It was, I swear, it looked like Zadok Longenbach. It looked like Zadok. He had this tool and he was leaning up against the frame picture in the wall. It looked like he was trying to cut it free from its frame. It was an ultraviolet light. He's like, if I shine this ultraviolet light, it'll show me different tones of black, and I can see what was filled in and what wasn't.
Yeah, this was amazing. This is one of those pieces that you're just so thankful that it exists. Like, you think
it is
50 to 60 years, it would have been, put somewhere, lost, damaged.
Well, I'll say this: if there was any damage, if there was any extensive restoration, it doesn't show at all. Uh, if it was more than just the backgrounds, it then Roger was one of the greatest artists I've ever heard of, because it is so sharp, it is so clean, it is so beautiful. It is a golden example of the golden age. You know, I just love it to death, and it stood out next to everything else that was in the room.
Is this the one Michael Finn got? Is this the one Michael Finn picked up?
No, this isn't the one that Michael got. It's just my personal favorite.
This is
Michael has
so
better
beautiful.
taste.
This is just this is just so beautiful.
275K.
Yep.
And a classic cover, by the way. If you get the CGC graded copy, it does list it as a classic cover, as defined by the Golden Age, collectors, CGC, and the collector community, Overstreet, etc.
I don't know what the experts say. I just know it when I see it, and that thing is it.
It's huge.
And so does Zadok, right? Did anybody get a picture of him doing that? Where was security when this was going on?
Well, this happened
there's a guard
a week after the Louvre heist, so people should have been very wary. But
what happened in the other side of the room? They were also doing an exhibit for costumes from The Walking Dead, and pretty much everyone who came to the Heritage showroom, they were all on that side of the room. Heritage set up like the refreshments and the champagne. They knew where the people were going. Most people aren't heading for the Golden Age art, but Philistines.
I will.
Anyway,
I think this went for the low side of fair. I actually I thought this was going to go higher.
Too cheap, right, Nick?
Yeah.
This is one of the classics of the Silver Age. Yeah. I think this thing would have sold for more 10 years ago. I think that Silver Age DC, with certain exceptions, just aren't quite hitting it with the younger collectors, perhaps.
Yeah.
But I think this is one of the great covers.
I would have thought 150 to 180.
I would have thought 200. The fact that it just broke 100 is amazing. It's a great deal in my eyes, but I have an old perspective. I remember when DC and Marvel, it wasn't so much like this for the vintage market,
right.
Especially Silver Age. The covers aren't generally expected to exist, much less a really great example like this one. 100 is real cheap. I mean, 100 is a ton of money. It's not like I can blow it so easily. But if you are in the market for 100K to spend on one piece of art, you could do so much worse than this one.
Well, look, I'll put it like this. When Glenn had the cover with, I bought the splash from you. I don't know if you remember.
Of course I remember. I don't remember. Of course I remember, Nick.
I don't remember if I told you the story. Glenn had offered me the cover for like 70 grand. So this was probably 4 years before I bought the splash from you. So maybe 7 or 8 years ago, Albert ended up buying it. And I think it was like 75 or 80 grand then. So if you think how much that went, which was, a Mirror Master in the Flash, this should have, maybe you're right. Maybe 200 was the price. And just to answer Alberto's question, Alberto, what we're doing here is talking about a little bit about Keith Fromm, a little bit about Cassaday, but mostly about the auction that just ended. Sorry, he's asking and he's putting in the dates, trying to figure this out. This was one. Wow.
Yeah. Boy, I tell you, I never knew when this was going to go. It could have been 50. It could have been 100. If something just shines in two guys' eyes just right and it has a certain notoriety, this thing could have been anywhere. Comic collectors, comic readers of the early 80s, this is one of those covers that just came together. Everything came together so right. It's not like everyone collects this series. This wasn't the series everyone was reading and talking about, but everybody remembers this cover. It's different from all the others. It has all the characters, but it shows a very different scene. I would love to have this in my collection. Maybe if I thought it was only going to go for 68, I would have made a few plays ahead of time. But it's certainly a unique piece.
It is. It is. Again, low side affair. I mean, look, I think many of us, if not all of us, have admired Keith's collection and, him putting it on and taking it off calf multiple times, some of his art. And the only, I'll say, not nice thing I'll say about Keith was he was the master of reaching out to people to see if you wanted to buy a piece of his art that he knew you would like and then disappear on you after you made an offer. Or maybe that was just me. He did it too, but like
there was
lots of people
among
he liked the attention
at the event that it was very hard to buy art from him directly when he was with us, and I think that just built up a lot of kind of pent up interest in some of his pieces. And when it came to auction, I think it was like, okay, now it's time to get a free run at these things, and those prices showed it, right?
Well, like oh, go ahead, Dan. I'm sorry.
Well, no. I'm just going to affirm that you are not the only person he pulled that with. The thing about Keith is he put a lot of his self-worth in his collection. And sometimes when he needed a little pick-me-up, he would reach out to people with something that he thought they would like just to hear how much they wanted
Get an offer, right?
It sounds crazy. But, he was an eccentric fellow.
And it wasn't just the collectors. It was the dealers as well. They were in on the whole, are you interested in selling? Maybe. I talked to a dealer that night too, said same story.
One of my favorite things about this cover, and it's subtle, but if you look at Hawkman's face, it's not like the Silver Age Hawkman. You're actually seeing like it almost looked like a beak and everything right over his face. One of the more classic looks that he had.
I did want to add that, while he had some great pieces, if he did sell or succumb to a lot of those offers, he wouldn't have left with the collection that allowed his family to kind of put on the auction. And also what stood out was there was only 25 pieces in that room, and it tells you can have a hell of a collection with you don't need quantity, right? You just need quality pieces, and it was stunning just to watch. Every time you turned a corner, there was a piece that hits you in the face going, wow. I mean, he had these pieces. He had well curated collection.
He had stuff that just doesn't pop up. It's great to see a collection like that.
Yeah, that's next quality over quantity. So this was the one pick that you did for the Cassaday auction, and I think it was.
I love this cover.
One of my favorites too.
Did you love it enough to win it?
I'll tell you what I love about it. First of all, it's from Michael Golden's Magic period. He had like this period of 2 to 3 years where he busted his hump, not just with the pencils, but the inks. Look at the luscious inks. That's my son Jackie. Jackie,
hey, Jackie.
It's your bedtime.
How Jackie,
go to bed.
Past bedtime.
So, this
He's grown down.
He is. He's 8 years old now. He's going to be taller than me. It's ridiculous, but he does such a great job. He puts so much work in, and the fanfare came out at the very beginning of direct distribution. This is when they started selling books directly to the comic book stores.
And premium paper, right? It just felt
it didn't have to be Comics Code Authority. They were going to do better art. They were going to do better stories. It was going to be printed on that Baxter paper, I think they called it.
Yep.
That higher quality painter. And I remember going to the comic store, and you would see it up on the wall in the early days because 2s weren't printed as much as 1s were. So for a while, the Fanfare 2 was actually more valuable, and it would be up there. I remember seeing it back in the day. And I just think this is an important cover. When I think Marvel Fanfare, the title, this is the cover that pops into my head. Not so much the one, maybe the Craig Russell one with Scarlet Witch holding the Spider-Man, but this is the top of the heap. And that is why I did indeed win it, Nick.
Congratulations.
Oh, congratulations. Dan, big
I know who you beat out on this. So
oh yeah. Well, thank you for not bidding more.
No, it wasn't me. It wasn't me.
The 90s and modern collectors would look at kind of the details that Golden puts in this, it's very McFarlane-esque in that it's overloaded with just detail, unnecessary detail, but one that enriches the image.
Well, it's funny because when you read the description, you know, they don't go on that whole tirade that I just went on. In the description, it's like first man spider. Like that's what's going to appeal to the younger collectors. This is the first time he turns into a spider, as opposed to, you know, the Spider-Verse man spider. I'm sure they've got a version of them.
Well, congrats, Dan. That's
thank you.
Great win.
No, it's fantastic. I mean, there's probably 10 truly iconic Michael Golden pieces that come to mind. The number 1 and number 2, I will say both, but I'll also say his G.I. Joe 29 cover with Destro. That's a fantastic one. But to a degree, this is up there. The most iconic thing I think Golden did was that big image with all the Marvel heroes. Do you remember that? They made
the poster. Yeah.
We turned it into a lithograph when we had the Marvel license. So, but this is up there with that. So this was just incredible. Yeah. I mean, these 2 issues were magic.
And I do know where the issue 1 cover is at.
I saw it on Halpern's wall.
There you go. It's right there. It's right near the floor too. You have to get down and download and look at it.
Or something. You kind of have to step through.
Look at that right there.
Yeah, look. Jim has a really nice, consolation prize right there.
There you go.
He's crying, Dan. He's like,
yeah. I'm sure he's got enough art to dry his tears on. I'm sure.
Yeah. I thought that I would have thought that would have been a nice bookend for him, but clearly, congrats, man. That's amazing. Those 2 covers for me are my most favorite from that era, right? I mean, Golden, seeing those on the good stock, glossy, and the stories were fun. The interiors were great. I mean, that's nostalgic right there. Love it. What about Golden Cell? All right. So I think you didn't pick anything from the Cassaday, right, Dino? I think Nick might have one.
Yeah, I've not.
All right. So now we can get into some pieces from last weekend's signature.
Yeah, this hulking auction. Now, this is a beautiful page, big Spider-Man image, and it's from a book that the McFarlane guys go nuts for. You know, this is one of the key McFarlane issues. So the fact that it went for over 200 grand, it's very impressive. It's very strong. But believe it or not, I know a lot of folks who pegged it to go higher.
Wow.
Yeah, there were some people who were calling it north of $250,000.
McFarlane's Spideys are bringing it in. I mean,
I'm hearing about crazy numbers in private deals, and when a nice page shows up, hey, it's a page, guys. It's a 200K page. How many Ditko 200K pages have you seen pass over? You know, it's a big deal. It really is.
But it's a great panel. I mean, look at the panels you have. And I think, what we're seeing in the market, I mean, there were some people, 10, 15 years ago that had multiple McFarlane Spidey pages. But now, because of the cost, you kind of just have to get a one and done. And therefore, there's some incentive just to pay more, pay up, get the best you can. And you could just see the top of the market of the best pieces are just getting huge premiums.
Yeah, tremendous premium. See?
Well, and I think when I had Joe on, I mean, to me, all three panels are spectacular, right? I mean, they're so well rendered. The lower, the bottom right panel. I mean, there's so much detail in the webbing. I mean, these are exquisite images of Spidey. Even the one where he's small with the cityscape on it. But the first panel and the third one, I mean, there's going to be better splashes, and certainly there were a lot of those 4-panel super slender vertical things that that McFarlane would do. But this is just if you got this one as an interior, you wouldn't need another interior from his run, I don't think, outside of a splash.
Agreed.
Definitely. And think about where we've come. I mean, the Spider 1 traded in the low 200,000s. I know that was some time ago, but wow, I mean the strength of the McFarlane.
Do I remember somebody's trying to put this book together?
No, that's a different issue.
Yeah, that's different.
Well, the 328 was the Hulk is one too. I just
That's
didn't
one
know
that they
about
were
this.
putting together.
Yeah.
I don't think anybody's made any serious progress. Too many people want this issue.
Yeah, this is gorgeous. You got the Macy's Day balloon right there. There you go. You got the Day Parade
It's
balloon.
got the Macy's premium.
Exactly.
There you go. Kazzer says, hit the like button, everybody, if you like Baxter paper. There's a good reason to do it.
And hit the like button if you like Dan, Dino, or Bell.
But I do agree. This had a higher upside. I mean, you think it's a lot, but if you think of the quality of the page and what other McFarland Spideys have gone for, it's not surprising at all. I mean, when you get an image,
it's not surprising, but I think it's a lot. It still seems crazy to me, but not surprising. A lot of people thought it was going to go for more. Seriously,
when people are talking about it, it shouldn't be a surprise.
Right.
Next.
Yep. All right, here you go. 150.
Cool.
Yeah.
This is just a cool piece. I mean, I don't know about 150,000 cool, but man, is it a cool piece.
Yeah, look, a few people noticed this before the auction, and everybody noticed it after the auction. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's a crazy over-the-top Mars Attacks kind of thing for a crazy over-the-top kind of price. It really was strong. It makes no sense for that thing to be 150, except for two really, 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 really wealthy guys who don't care parking that money for some time. If you like it, it's the best example of Mars Attacks. If you want to pay 150 for it, good for you. Congratulations for you even being able to buy that thing for 150. But you know, it's a crazy price.
I'll tell you something stunning is this piece is like 5 1/4 by 3.75.
It's very small.
Card art. So you'd have to display it with a huge mat just to give it some wall presence. But you know, maybe with the card, you know, frame it with the card to show some reference.
Are you kidding me? For 150K, you can have it framed with have like a statue of one of the Mars aliens holding the art in the middle.
Now, if the guts were coming out from that ray, this probably would have went for $151,250. It would be an extra $1,000 plus $250 BP. But it doesn't. So the person saved $1,250.
All right.
Yep. And Jay's giving you a hard time, Dan. He says you hate Mars Attacks.
Well, at that price, yeah. At that price, offer me one, Jay. See what I say.
Mm-hmm. All right, so we got a Jack Kirby Strange Tales 114 page.
Key issue.
Now, let me tell you, before I go into this specific page, a lot of people have been talking about Kirby losing some of his magic, and I think the top examples are going to continue marching, but as we get further and further away from the collectors who grew up with Kirby and the collectors who discovered Kirby later in life, I think we're seeing kind of a shift in what's considered significant work. Up until about 10 years ago, even up until about 5 years ago, I would say Strange Tales was a special book. It was a tryout for Captain America. It came before the Avengers 4. And no one's ever seen the art from Avengers 4. I wouldn't call this Cap's first appearance, but there's a little asterisk to kind of almost make it one. I've seen pages from this issue come up about 5 years ago, and they sold for just under 30.
I thought this was a little soft, to be honest.
I thought this was going to be 35, but in my mind, I'm saying if an old guy didn't buy it, if a guy like my age or older didn't go for it, go back to bed. It's your bedtime. If one of us didn't buy it, and you're counting on the young guys, I could see how a younger collector or newer collector would look at this and say it doesn't have that visual pop, you know. Meanwhile, Captain America 200 page, which was that gorgeous fight page, wound up selling for like 20 plus, when a typical page from that run will go for closer to 3-4, you know, like maybe around there, $4,000. But it was a beautiful page. I could see a guy ponying up for it. Meanwhile, a page that maybe isn't as visually striking, but is just as important, really, I think could have caught more bids. You know, Jim Shooter used to pull this book out for the Marvel artists to teach them how the storytelling, the Marvel method of storytelling works. I mean, Jim left us, but that his little lecture is still up on his website.
Yeah.
You know, I thought this was cheap. I thought the Avengers 3 for what it was
Oh my God,
cheap.
the Avengers 3 was so cheap.
At 35, that was another special book. It was just an all-out slugfest through the whole thing. I thought both of those pages. I almost picked the Avengers 3 over the Strange Tales because I have the same thing to say about both of them.
To me, the takeaway also is original art collectors can have to think differently than comic collectors. Obviously, the research, particularly with first appearance, early appearances are important. But like a comic collector may diminish the value of a Strange Tales 4 and 14 because it was just an acrobat. It wasn't really Captain America prior to Avengers 4. But an art collector, to us, this is Kirby drawing Captain America prior to Avengers 4. So the significance is there, regardless of whether it's an acrobat, it's the acrobat, or actually, you know, Steve Rogers. So
I'm going to say something to Alberto real quick to answer that. Alberto, you know, Cap may have saved the Avengers, but Daredevil created the Avengers. Just keep that in mind. No, if Bill Everett wasn't late, the Avengers only came together because Bill Everett was late on Daredevil #1, and they had to fill the slot. So that's how they threw together the Avengers and why Kirby only did the first 8 issues at first. So anyway, this page, I was surprised it went this cheap because there was a page on Comic Link that went for $82,000. Now, that was a battle page between Hulk and Submariner when they first meet. But at the same time, this still should have went for more than this. I would have thought this would have went for 50, 60 easy.
Yeah. I don't know why someone didn't pony up for it. Goodbye. Whoever got it, great buy for you, buddy.
And you've got all the Avengers and Hulk and Submariner. I mean, you've got everybody there.
I like the Hulk in there too. That's meaningful because he only appeared in so many issues, right?
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Somebody got lucky. Somebody got really lucky. So God bless.
It happens.
It does.
I didn't get lucky, but we might as well look at this piece now. There you go.
There
yeah.
One of the jewels. One of the
jewels. Shed a tear again all over. We were having a team meeting when this piece went up, so Kazra and DeTulio got to watch me cry right on camera with them. But yeah, you know, like you guys said, for Gulacy, this probably is, you know, certainly one of the best covers ever. I mean, that he had worked on, and as much as I love his interior work, this one was just such a striking image for me. You know, in '81, I was 13 years old and bought this thing at the local drugstore. You know, and I just started collecting X-Men maybe a year before that, so I still wasn't really familiar with the characters, you know, like I should have been. But there was something about that. I reread this book so many times because it was really kind of giving you backstory on characters that I was literally just discovering. And so for a book, it's you know, even Over the Elementals, it literally is that more important to me than the love for Willingham and his work there, just because of that. So it was you know, it was shocking to see.
And you watched it live, right? I mean, obviously.
Oh yeah, we all watched.
Well, you know, and there was a chance that this could have gone because it was the 4th or 5th lot in the auction. Usually those early ones don't tend to really
right. Well, just the fact that it was in the first round and everything, you kind of knew that there was going to be more attention on it.
If it were buried in the later, yeah, you probably
right. I might have had a chance, but I even entertained you know, Berkey was like, "Go strong, Bill. Go 40. You know, 40 you'll get it. You'll get it with 40." And I'm like, "I can't go 40, Mike."
I just think there's such a strong cadre of X-Men nostalgia that it would be hard to. I mean, 40 would have been light too, I think.
I mean, now I know. What did who knew, right? I mean,
I had a rough time valuing this. I kind of, if I didn't go for the Marvel fanfare just a few weeks earlier, I definitely would have been more serious about this one. But look, on one hand, it's a bizarre adventure cover. Paul Gulacy is not a pull, especially for X-Men. But this came from an era when X-Men weren't that big of a deal at least not outside of their main title. They didn't do tons of crossovers. This was outside of the book realm. It was a little more mature. And honestly, when did you ever see these guys painted? I was blown away when I saw the translucent effect on Iceman's leg as a kid. I was like, wow, I'm looking at my comic characters, but this is like real art. I had no idea who Galassi was at the time. You know, the name almost doesn't matter. The image was so different from every other X-Men book that you had seen that I knew this would bring some attention. How much, I didn't know. I didn't think 30 was ever going to take it. I thought if you look at it as a Bizarre Adventure cover, it could have gone as low as 40. But at this day and age, it's interesting enough that if two guys started fighting over it, it could have been 90. I'm not saying it should be, but it could have just as easily as it could have been 40, it could have been 90. So
I also think that this hit the rack. It was the first time that Phoenix force behind Jean Grey was so prominent on the cover, right? Her first appearance, she's jumping out of the water, and then a lot of the early Phoenix stuff, you didn't have the Firebird behind there, and I thought that was really cool. I mean, the image composition with that Firebird behind is just dramatic, and it tells you everything about her power.
My dad had that same emblem on his Trans Am, right? I mean, it's either way.
Trans Am, hey, Knight Rider.
But you know, but no, I agree with everything you're saying, and it's funny. But like I said, I was 13 years old when I bought it, and you're right, Dan. It was at a point in time when the X-Men weren't that popular, and what were the other magazines coming out? I mean, Bizarre Adventures had a different story, a different team or character. You know, as the focal point. Before that, there was the Hulk magazine,
Marvel Premiere, like the Star Wars stuff.
Yep, exactly. So yeah, it stood out. I mean,
Mad Magazine. I remember those were all there.
Yep. Yeah. Exactly. Well, there you go. So a lesson learned. I mean, I could, 60 was never going to be.
Well, you should invite whoever bought it. If they want to come on a show with you, they can give you some background.
I'm sure they'd say the same thing. I mean, this is it's a special piece. So whoever got it, congratulations. I'm very happy.
Yes.
I just hope it ends up on cap so I can look at it every day.
Well worthy.
Yeah. Let's see, what do we got next here? James O'Barr piece that almost went for $70,000.
Haven't talked about James O'Barr in a while.
Well, you don't get to see a lot of his art, you know. It wasn't really that big, I should say, as a publication, but it certainly generated a cult following when it came out. I think it petered out after 4 issues, but it was very much a product of its time. It had that goth atmosphere. There was the Brandon Lee movie that came out right after it that really kind of added to the mystique, and you just never see the art. I remember a nice page from issue 2 popped up on eBay about a year ago, and it sold for like 23,000. So when I saw this gorgeous splash, I mean, it's so moody. It doesn't have like action per se, but it's such a moody piece for a title that really was built on its mood.
I think
you couldn't ask for a better example. Yeah, you couldn't ask for a better example.
Well, I knew he keeps most of his art, right?
I don't know. I really don't know. I never collected the stuff. I never had an opportunity.
The back cover to number 3, and again, it was very moody. He wasn't doing anything but staring with some, intense resolution and things. But the story was
something you never see.
Yeah,
it's really something you never see. Nothing. You never see examples. Period. Examples this good. Never.
No, this is quality.
It's great. It's great. It's a one and done.
One and done. Yeah, I think there was a nice interior page. Maybe was it like 9 or 10 months ago that went really high too. But I mean, I feel like I've heard him say that he did sell a lot of that artwork, unfortunately. So
what is this pen and ink, or is this what is the medium?
It's definitely got some zip on it. Looks like duo shade or duotone, and then and zipatone on top of it. So either way, nice. I mean, I thought these are cool. I mean, I actually didn't read much of the Crow, but But I love Dobar's artwork a lot. I mean, he's during this era. I mean, he's fantastic. I have an early piece by him that I would never part with because I just love his style, and it wasn't from the Crow, but it doesn't matter because it's just something unique about his work, and very happy to have a piece.
Gorgeous.
Oh goodness, what do we got here? Got the Thunder God here.
It's an old what if. Look,
Yeah.
it's not the most valuable piece that came up. It certainly isn't the most significant piece. But tell me that isn't charming. When I think comic books, that is such a comic book image. Just the Watcher standing over, cosmically overseeing is like, hey guys, you guys want to see Thor fight Conan, right? Here it is for you. It's so tongue in cheek, but not in like a self-parroting kind of way. It's not making fun of the genre, but it's just so cheesy. But it's honest. But it's
that's
like,
the beauty of What If. You'd never see them come across each other on a page. You had Norse god and a Hyborian warrior, and then a alien, whatever Watcher is. It's demigod.
No. So this is my piece that I just pulled up because it's just so much darn fun. Was it too much? Was it too little? I have no idea. I just know it's worth a few chuckles. A buddy of mine used to have this. Peter Shapiro had it for a bunch of years, and it looks great. It's
no.
I won't call it
22,500 is a good price. It's a good price. I don't think somebody got it cheap or anything, but I could have seen it going to 25 or 30. But
yeah, sure.
I think if it had more background, maybe. But again, it's like, it's not Thor versus Hercules, but it is cool. I mean, we got to keep in mind, didn't Conan at that time only appear in 2 What If stories, and that was it? Like, he never crossed over with the Marvel Universe any other time, right? Yeah. So congrats to the person who got it. It's nice.
It's fun.
Conan did not stand a chance in this battle. Or could have sneezed, and Conan would have bitten the dust.
Oh man!
So all right,
my dad will beat up your dad.
This is
all right. This is beautiful.
Beautiful, beautiful, beautiful. You see a lot of Conan, Barry Windsor Smith stuff coming up the last couple years. Some of them are really great. His style evolved. There was this peak period where so much of it got hoarded. The Red Nails art, which, oh God, what that stuff would do if it came back to public market. But it's all locked up. So when you see something from this era with this level of detail, it really stood out in my mind. This was just as good as Conan art got back in the day, and check it out.
And this was 23, which is the first appearance of Red Sonja page. And a lot of the pages, like in the book, this is a splash, but so there were some issues with some of the other pages, right? They were lost and they were redrawn or something. One page came up about 9 months ago, I think, in the auction. It was an interior page, but it had a lot of work on it, and I think they explained that that art was missing and it was redrawn or something. But the splash was kept intact.
Barry getting in on as later issues of Conan came out, and he was still redefining his style. What Barry did with Conan was kind of what when Neil was, it popped just like when Neil started doing his first Marvel work. It popped like Steranko. It was just like, wow, this is different. This is beautiful. I mean, if you look at it, I mean, they look more, almost a little bit more like fine art, and it stands out. What did it go for? What did it go for?
I'm sorry, I went for 81.
Wow.
Higher,
and
honestly, higher than I thought it would. Higher than
who aren't familiar, if you ever want to go look back, look at 16, I guess, the Frost Giant's daughter through 24. I mean, that would be considered high peak for Barry Windsor Smith Conan. And you have this detail over detail that is just sumptuous. he was in class of himself back then.
Yeah, the best stuff coming out at the time, for sure.
Oh, and he also did Avengers 99 and 100, which was amazing art.
Yeah. But I mean, like, look, I think this is after, because he did the first few, remind me, he did the first few issues of Conan, then maybe did some pencils or inks. And then
3 was the low distribution one.
Right. And then he didn't do a bunch of issues, and then he came back.
Kane came in for 11 through 15, and then he took back over in 16, something like that. But 16 to 23, 24 was huge. 23 was the key because it was the first appearance of Red Sonja.
Yeah, because he was sick, and he flew back to London for a bit, and then when he came back, it was after he was, gotten better, and he just was like, "I'm just going all out, doing it myself."
Yeah.
All right, cool.
He got into his opus and his romantic art genre paintings.
Yeah.
Well, outside of covers, this is the highest. Is it the highest? No, there was one higher interior.
The horse one. There was a horse splash.
The horse one went for 84,000.
Okay.
Yeah, a couple years ago. You're right. So it's the second highest interior from his run.
Yeah, like I said, I think this one. I feel like this one. Well, this went for higher than I thought it would. I don't know what anybody else thought. I thought this was going to top out at 50.
Oh, I thought it was going north of that.
Okay.
I didn't know where it was ending up, but
I just like seeing that Barry Smith. I mean, obviously his Weapon X stuff is still very high, but it's great to see his Conan work get its due in the market. I mean, it's back. I mean, 15 years ago, that was as blue chip as you can get, right?
Well, look, the demise of the Barry Windsor Smith Conan market might have been slightly overstated. Like I said, the new collectors coming in, the ones who are looking to push prices further and not necessarily bargain shop if they find the right example, they've really got to be struck by the piece, and maybe the context isn't as strong with them as opposed to someone who grew up with the material, but they recognize a great Barry Windsor Smith Conan when they see it. So when I see something as good as that example come up, I expect it to go strong. Maybe not record breaking because people want his Weapon X now and all that other stuff, but the very best, it still hangs around, whether it's hot or not. People will pony up if you bring out the best Conan every time. And
the market was flooded for a little bit. I mean, there was a lot that came out. That's why it got depressed, but now it's going back up.
Yeah. You pull out the right example, and I'll show you something getting a record price.
All right. Well, you ready, Dino?
Good picks. Yeah. Oh, absolutely. I did pick one from the Fromm auction because I thought Dan was putting a few. But the rest of them were from Heritage.
All right.
So I did attend the exhibit with Dan and a few other collectors. I was surrounded by these exceptional Golden Age covers, but I kept on going back to this one. This is a Bob Kane Batman 10 or 11. It's an early page, but it's so rare to find a quality page like this. This Keith had savored and curated, and I mean that bottom panel is about as classic as you can get for the duo. It's got Batman and Robin and 6 panels. Just a great specimen. This thing sold for 100,000, and I would just think about the rarity of this. I mean, I think Heritage has offered the 9 cover. And then a splash from 11 or something. But in terms of the old Batman stuff, this is as rare as it ever gets. I think there is a page from Batman 1 out there with Joker, but other than that, trying to find something like this, again, twice up, Bob Kane art is very hard to come by. Even its commissions are what's just sold for 60,000 in this auction. This stuff is rare as anything, and I just kept looking at this page, going, "Wow! If I were in the market for a Golden Age Batman page, this would be as iconic and well received as any." So,
and if you're a Robin fan, it literally doesn't get any better.
Yeah.
If you're a Robin fan, there is no other example out there better than this
one.
Well,
the last panel's like one of the covers. It's
that's
totally
right. It looks like the 9 cover.
Covers.
Yeah.
And this one for 100,000.
100,000. Which, I mean, look at what you can get for 100,000, and
it feels like somebody got a decent deal.
It feels about right. It's kind of look, when you see the McFarland cover sell for 800, how can you bitch about this at 100? I mean, yeah, sure, you know.
But I just thought this stood out on the wall for me. It was just
it's a brilliant piece, you know. The Hit Comics was beautiful visually, but you know, nobody remembers the Red Bee. Everybody knows Batman and Robin. This is it's ancient, it's golden age, it's lost its context, but people can still connect with the characters because they know them so well, you know. Oh yeah, great.
A good piece.
All right, now we head over to
this second. So there's two key McFarlane Spidey pieces, the one that Dan showed, and then this one. I love this one, by the way. This has this image. First, you know, since I have a splash from 12, I thought 13, this would be a great one to go after. But I mean, I was quickly outbid on this. But the image itself is just phenomenal. I think the whole story, if you remember, was Peter Parker in the Black Venom symbiotic costume. He got rid of it, and Todd drew them all in the red and black. And this was the time where he got back his black costume by asking the seamstress or seamster of the Fantastic Four to build him a new costume. So he's actually fitting on the costume. He's saying how well it fits, and then you have this spectacular image on a larger than normal page. This only went for 160, which is about 50% or 40% less than the red and white one 3-panel page. But in terms of an image, it's something that I thought just really stood out. I could have easily seen this go with this, you know, up in the 200s as well.
And the Spider-Man pages are bigger, you know. This is bigger than
Spidey,
the ASM
right, after the ASM pages.
They're bigger. I mean, collectors gravitate towards ASAM because that's the primary title. Yeah. But you know, with the popularity of McFarlane's Spider-Man, the Spider-Man title, it doesn't have any sort of detriment to it. It does. No. It's not like there's an ASM premium and nothing for Spider-Man. If anything, the Spider-Man pages are often prettier because they're bigger. They're more impressive to look at.
And
this must be great in person.
He inked himself. Yeah.
He inked himself entirely.
And while this doesn't have the spaghetti webbing, it has all those little background vignettes that just fill the panel, so it's not empty. No. I love that. I love that.
It's a great example. Look, it's just that's where the McFarlane market has come, where we can point at these pages at 150, 200, and say, yeah, well, it's a good example. What do you expect?
Well, I mean, and it was a surprise that he put him back in the black costume because he made a big point when he was first drawing Spider-Man that his number one objective was to put him back in the red and blue. He was like, I don't want to draw this black costume. I want him in this classic costume. And out of all of his art, the page that he saved, I mean, I'm sure he's saved a lot, but the one that he has kept in his collection for certain that he has no intention of selling unless it's for a good reason is the page where he's swinging out saying, I'm back in my red and blue, So it was definitely a surprise when you put him in the black. And, listen, the price here reflects it. So next, I'll pull my Albert. Next.
Now we're sticking, it's got McFarlane in this one, but mostly David Finch. But this one is,
I mean, you picked this as your show.
Yeah.
The history of this is interesting. It's the Wizard magazine jam illustration. They were doing it for their anniversary, probably the 15th, where they created this thing which is like 3 feet by 4 feet, and I think this went to 10 artists: McFarlane, Alex Ross on Superman. McFarlane did both black costume Spidey and the Spawn, and then it went to Layfield and J. Scott Campbell. Perez did the layouts because only Perez could do layouts of 100 characters in this thing, and it was shipped around. I think Jim Lee did Punisher and Batman and Robin. But anyway, it kind of fizzled out, right? Because it was just too cumbersome to ship back and forth. Ended up, if you look on Facebook, there was Matt E. who was talking about for the George Perez page. He was talking about how it was given to David Finch, who had to spend the next 2 years finishing everything out to all the characters. So you have this huge compilation of all the, call it 90s top artists and characters. I just think it was one of those special pieces that represent an age, and it was a win.
Yeah.
Yes.
Oh wow!
I had so much. I love unique pieces at this stage of my collecting. I've had so much joy from the Marvel '86 anniversary poster. I got the Secret Wars poster, which shows all the characters in the early '90s, and to me, this one just sums up all the characters and artists of the kind of '90s thing. It would be a great addition. So
imagine how much more it would have went for if it had Daredevil, Green Lantern, and Flash.
You would have bid him up. Would you have bid him up if that was the case?
Not in today's.
I just, when the catalog came out and this was here, I'd known Gareb Shamus and the Wizard folks and back in the day, and I knew how much care he did in kind of cultivating his ties to the community and the comic cons that he was doing. And I knew this piece was something that he started in earnest, but because of what happened in the financial crisis and what's the evolution of Wizard, it didn't get finished until many years later, but glad to see it completed. And I just look, this I'll get a lot of joy having this on my wall. So
no, the fact that it's Kingdom Come Superman, all kidding aside,
I love that.
Yeah,
I love the different types on different takes for the artist. And who knows, you rarely find a piece that brings an all-star cast like when Wizards top 10. I mean, literally 10 artists coming together to do this was it's incredible. So I thought it's
perfect,
unique, and I glad to add that.
Marcus is right about that.
That's amazing, Dino. Yeah.
Do
you have a spot on the wall planned? Because I know it can't go into your man cave.
Too big for that. I may have to put another comic cave too. With this as a centerpiece. So, but who knows? Who knows? I'll figure out what to do with it when I get it. But
Jason said he would pay money at the door to come into your house so he could see this piece, as if you were a museum. So
he's always welcome. Always welcome. But I was very happy with it.
Yeah, no, that's well. Wait, now the next piece is the Galassi again. We're not gonna make me tear up again. But this Kirby piece was pretty great. I mean, come on, the thing, Surfer's Board, issue 55.
Come on, 55 went for 55,000. Does it get better than that?
Yeah, I thought this was a steal. I knew I owned this piece for 8 years. It was at the time the earliest Silver Surfer art from FF55. Obviously, his first appearance in 48. The Lockjaw panel. You have the whole memorable Bindgrim trying to break the board, and this was right before the whole Doctor Doom grabs the board, gets the powers, and maybe that gets tied into this next Doom storyline for Avengers. Anyway, I own this. I sold it to a very good friend who was a very prominent Silver Surfer collector, and obviously he's decided to move on from it, but I know he's enjoyed this a lot. I don't think there is not an earlier Silver Surfer page. It's still the earliest, at least publicly on the market, or at least publicly sold. So there's still some kind of historic content to this, and it's a memorable scene. I think 55 compared to some other Surfer art that's gone out there, even recreations were pushing 45, right, for Silver Surfer 1, the Buscema one.
Which, I mean,
this is historical.
Yeah, it's so weird how much love there is for Silver Surfer. And I mean, he did have a long run in the late 80s, early 90s, but outside of that, hard title to keep going. Okay,
well,
so
one thing I say before you switch over, Bill.
Sure.
One thing I wanted to say about this piece, Coming back to what we were talking about earlier with the Kirbys, it's very true. You won't find earlier Silver Surfer art. Issues 48, 49, and 50, no one's ever seen any art from any of those books.
Yep.
You know, I'm not saying that they don't exist. In fact, it's
not public.
it's very suspicious that no one's ever seen any pages from like the middle of Kirby's run. I mean, no one's seen pages from issue 1 or 2, but that's understandable. 48, someone should have seen something. So this is as early as it gets, but those first couple of panels don't have the magic so much. The bottom two 100% do.
Yeah.
And I do wonder about newer collectors coming in looking to spend real high-end money. They need something not just contextually that's awesome, but they need that visual catch to it as well. So it should have done better. It should have, but I get
and
it.
the magic of the storyline, the whole Ben Grimm versus the Surfer trying to break his board. This was before all the movies, so it was that storyline that was really captivating and endeared a lot of people. The Surfer in the FF saga. It may have been lost now that we've had 3 Fantastic Four movies, and Silver Surfer appeared in the second one, and just there's so much. The story may have been kind of not as easily recognizable as it was as prominent back in the day. So, but good to see the page again, and hopefully the new owners will cherish it like the other past 2.
Mm-hmm. And you mentioned the recreation. So here you go. This one was went for 58,750.
I don't get it. I don't get it. I really don't get it.
Well, it's huge. Look at that.
I understand. I still don't get it. I still don't get it.
One thing I'll say, it's not that I'm going to defend this result, but I remember doing a recap earlier in the year, maybe even a year ago, when a Hulk 181 reproduction went for around 35 grand. 43, was it 43?
Yes, 43, and we were
just around this much. And it was like, well, this was the biggest one, this was the nicest one, this is supposed to be. It all defies explanation. These are all recreations, but they're done by the original artists. There are several that are in existence. The nicest ones seem to go for insane money. But it really, it's a vanity. Collecting recreations, it's all fun and games. And if you have the budget that 40K can still be fun and games, good for you.
Well, because the original doesn't exist, whereas the original does exist of this.
But I will say, I will say, if you only have so much in your budget, so much you can do.
That's crazy.
Really,
Bill, that's crazy.
I know.
Look, in 2018, in the
I mean, wow.
This
is like the GNP of some small Caribbean island.
And this is all Jim Halpern's art, right?
Yeah, that's just one of his walls.
This is half of one of the walls. Yeah, this you got the Iron Man Submariner cover up there. Steranko X-Men. Look at that.
So, I mean, George Lucas, it's on you now. So you gotta your work cut out of. Oh my god.
That Invaders cover. Oh my god.
That's a Steranko X-Men cover.
Yep.
He only did 3 of them.
Yep.
I think that Steranko X-Men cover won cover of the year one year.
Oh yeah.
Marvel's one page. Marvel 1 page right there.
Yeah.
Size Defenders. Crazy. Oh my god.
Were we talking about an auction?
Yeah,
we were. I just figured, we got to see the recreation, and I remembered I had this photo.
Well, the recreation. I mean, I know 7 years ago was a world away, but it sold for
this is the most impressive photo I've seen in 10 years.
Look at the cover to What If #1 up in the upper right. Too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right, let's go. Come on.
All right.
Next, Keith Pollard. Boy,
so I thought this was kind of a very cool cover. I think we know that the Hulk and Thing battle pages have always gone fairly well in auction. This was a cover, and you get 2 prominent figures going at it. Pollard is a respectable artist who did a lot of the late 70s, early 80s pieces for Marvel. I think I just thought it was a really, really cool page of fun. 50,000. I think you'd blink at that like early, like in 5 years ago, 6 years ago. But right now, I mean, for a battle cover, I think it's right in line with what I would have pegged this one. Just because of the Hulk thing, and I mean we've seen pages from the Starlin ones go for 30,000, which is an interior page of them kind of battling from Marvel feature 12 or 11 or something like that. So I just thought this was a nice highlight because it again they don't make covers like this.
No, I love this cover. The composition is amazing. The thing and the Hulk are really going at it. But they're also in a scene. It's not like over the top, insane like aggression. It's really a very classic, well rendered cover. It lacks the context. When you see 50K, you really want to see the context. Like, is it an important story, title, artist? Is it a moment? And in that respect, it kind of fails. But it is a brilliant Thing versus Hulk image. I know a guy who loves Thing versus Hulk. Wouldn't shock me if he forked over 50K for it, because really, how many better Thing versus Hulk covers are you going to find out there? There are a few, but visually, this holds its own against most of them. It's 50K does seem a bit rich for my blood, but I could imagine someone being very, very happy to have this.
Well, I think the Marvel 2-in-1 is very similar to the What If. It's not a main storyline. So
I agree with Dino right there. Yeah. That's why I think it was on the high end, but it still is what it is.
But as an art collector, right? Whether it's not the main title, you're still getting more image value, I think, from what it would be if it were in the main title.
Mm-hmm. And it's the third highest Keith Pollard piece ever sold.
Wow.
Number one is the Thor 300 cover, as it should be. What do we got next here? Oh, McKinney.
Yeah, so they had 4 pages in the auction. This came out of the last signature auction. I think it was a huge piece. The signature McKinney Arkham Asylum interior piece went for what? 300,000, 350,000. No surprise that some of the pages are going to the market. I had 2 pages from this. These are, for those who aren't familiar with it, these are oversized, bigger than twice up, fully painted. This one's interesting because it has Batman and Joker, which is a rarity. I don't know if there's maybe a dozen pages that have both characters, but you have to live with a couple things just for pointers. Like the Batman's never really drawn as clear. It's usually, as you see, that he's drawn in black, and there's these swirls that are on his cape that symbolizes him. And the Joker looks a bit different too. He has that fiery face, green hair, etc. But this is a great example. This was the top of the 4 that were offered. This was 40,000, I think, but they all seem to be in that 38 to 40 ballpark. And I think for 40, you're at least getting one with Batman and Joker, which I think is great. But I just wanted to, for those of you who haven't read this or haven't seen these pages on the wall, these are spectacular. They're huge. They're very vibrantly painted, and I think McKinney, his art style is unique. I think collectors want artists that are very distinctive, and there's no mistaking who's drawing this page.
Yeah, I thought we'd be seeing some more pages come after the last auction. You remember there was that big result from that splash. It was insane. I was like, well, we'll see a few more coming out, and sure enough, they didn't disappoint. I mean, they didn't get those splash numbers, but that splash was in a league all of its own. These were really well received, I thought. I thought they were mostly good examples, and they got really strong prices.
Yep. Next.
What is next? Oh, that's right.
War Machine. This was a surprise for me.
Why was this 40? Why was this 40?
Nobody knows.
I thought this was going to be one of those steals at 22 or something.
Must be the Silver Samurai.
Well, I'll tell you something interesting, and there's a lot of debate going on in the forums on this. So
is this a famous book?
Wait, this was billed as the first first full appearance of War Machine. The problem is it's the first full appearance of Tony Stark as War Machine. His actually first appearance was the before this was 281. He actually appears on the cover, much better image. So you can't really say that you're getting a first appearance if he's on the cover, even though he's not in the full book. He's on the cover of 281. And then the fact that when does Rhodes take over as War Machine? When does the title actually become War Machine? I think Tony Stark just calls himself Iron Man at the time, and the story calls him War Machine, but he doesn't identify as a new hero. He actually appears in West Coast Avengers 34, his first actual appearance, but it's not called War Machine. So there's a lot of, I mean, when you get to the complexity of this as an art collector, your head spins, because these first appearance collectors are trying to define what first appearance do you mean, and there may be 4 or 5 grades that of levels where each of those persons can identify what's a first appearance. First full appearance, first appearance of Tony Stark in the War Machine armor, first appearance of James Rhodes in the War Machine armor, first appearance that's identified as War Machine. I mean, it's mind-boggling. But this got the benefit of the Heritage. This is the first full appearance of War Machine. 40,000 is a very sporty price, but if you look at the cover of 281, probably a better image, and it's him. So
yeah,
interesting. I thought this would be going half as much, and
maybe it's the first appearance of the guns on his back. I don't know.
It's a great picture. I mean, the cover's fantastic. It's just,
there are a lot of Iron Man collectors out there, I think.
And 2 bidders really wanted it.
Yeah,
40K.
I mean, Kev Hopgood. I was just doing some research while you guys were talking about it. I mean, it's an artist I'm not really familiar with, from the UK, has done some 2000 AD work back in the day, and a little bit of Marvel on some Iron Man and a few other titles. But not. Hey.
Well, if this was a good price, then the Iron Man 250 at 50K by your buddy Bob Layton was a pretty good buy then, wasn't it, Bill?
That was a very good buy if that's the case.
But these are the things that you kind of hunt for, like late in the auction by an artist that isn't necessarily, top billing, and you kind of throw a bid in there and you hope that you kind of come away with something cool at a good price. But no, this was a lot of demand came for this one. So,
by the way, am I the only person who liked Terrence Howard better as Rhodey Rhodes than Don Cheadle? Nothing against Don Cheadle, but am I the only person who liked them better?
I thought they both did great jobs.
They did.
I like Cheadle. I thought Cheadle's character is cool. But
all right, let's go to the next one. This was nice. This was nice.
This was cool. I mean, I thought, for 16,000, you're getting this is the official Marvel index to the Fantastic Four. It's got Galactus. It's got the Fantastic Four in battle. It's got High Evolutionary. It's a wraparound cover, so you're getting a lot of art for the money. And it's Alex Savuk and Brett Breeding.
Brett Breeding, yeah.
Brett Breeding. Yeah, two accomplished artists that are name recognized for Spider-Man and for Superman. Good battle cover. This came late in the auction. I thought this. I had a bid in. I thought this would be a good buy at that kind of.
The thing is that this was a cover on a book that wasn't as well remembered.
Yeah.
But the image is so friggin' beautiful. I mean, it really, really is. Right. And Breeding definitely makes it look a little bit different than Alex's normal style. Not that you can tell as much, since these are, I mean, the faces are small on Mr. Fantastic and Sue Storm and Impossible Man. But I mean, I think if this was on a different title, it would have went for a lot more money. But beautiful, and congrats to the person who bought it, because it is just beautiful art.
Yeah, congrats. I also like the fact that in the center of the image is nothing. So the whole wraparound cover, you have to put all the characters on the outside and try to get a cohesive image on it. I thought with the popularity of Fantastic Four and Galactus, I mean, there's a lot going for this for a $16,000 piece. And I think actually for the fact that it wasn't as highly coveted as a comic book.
Yeah.
As an art collector, we don't really care. I mean, we would attribute the art itself, whether it was it sold 1 million copies or 100,000 or 10,000. Anyway, I thought I'd highlight.
It's beautiful. No, it's a great pick. It's a great pick, Dino.
I just wish my Galassi X-Men cover was on an official Marvel index to the X-Men or something. Anyway, no, I think it's awesome as well. Now, I think you have one other piece here, yeah. Dino.
I usually try to end with something of value, and I guess with the auction prices these days, I had to go under 10,000 for get something of value. But this I thought went under the radar. This was the Defenders one page. It's actually a cover image. If you look at the Defenders,
yeah,
cover,
it is.
He's on the slab, and you have the demons above, and this one actually has all three. You know, Hulk and Hulk's there in the top left corner. Doctor Strange is coming in. I don't know, 8,300 historic piece. The Defenders one cover went for 400,000, if I remember right. So
yeah, and look
I mean,
at what
get the splash.
Defenders 11. Look at
number
11.
Take some value. Whoever bought this, I just
Dino,
tucked this away.
Context-wise, I agree with you 100%. We had the Defenders 11 cover selling for like 170, I think, earlier in the auction. Yeah. So a splash from issue 1, it almost seems like a no-brainer that it should be like 30 plus. The only thing I'll say is visually, the characters are very small. They focus on these demon villains that you don't really get to care about much as characters. So visually, it doesn't have that
right,
pop.
You're getting a lot of that demon stuff.
And I've seen this page float around a little bit. This has been around a little bit, and that might affect the bidding. But when you see what's going on with early Defenders, any page from 1 for
because you have 3 main heroes. I would buy this
that's
page.
The cover scene, yes.
$200 to get a nice copy of Defenders 1 book and frame it with this page. You have an outstanding collectible, right?
Yeah, honestly,
it is the cover image.
If you framed it with the book next to it and you can see them together with the context, that thing is a 30K piece. If you just look at it on its own, you can see why people don't go nuts over it. But on paper, just arguing, show me the results on what early Defender stuff sells for. Show me the cover. This thing is a no-brainer. But a lot of people have seen this, and a lot of people have passed on it, which might be why it was able to go.
11 cover. Someone gave me an offer on my 6 cover, which is the other Silver Surfer one, just like right before the auction started. I kind of dismissed it as okay. Thanks for your interest. But then I saw the 11 blow up like that, and I'm like, okay, maybe I hope it's the same buyer. I think that would be a good win
negotiating point. Yeah. They're like, hey, it's not going to cost you as much as the 11 did,
Someone, I would have
charged the guy more than 160, right?
No, my number was lower, but
I would have thought one of you guys would have pulled that Defenders cover too. That's why I didn't pull it.
Yeah, I'd love to have 2, but
sorry,
there's no way I'm at it. I wouldn't want.
There's just too much crazy art in these auctions.
Yeah, I know, but that price felt. I mean,
well, again, it's a surfer.
Price.
There's a surfer cover. Those have a premium.
But
that sold for over 100 6 years ago, so it's not like
it did.
Yeah, the 11 was the first surfer cover to come to market, and it was it was a strong price. But anyway, thanks for letting me. I really was impressed with this auction. Really strengths in a lot of different areas and genres.
Great material, great prices.
I picked those that kind of got my eye. So, and I won some. So. Good.
I'll add that Defenders cover to your first pick here, Nick, so we can just look at it. 175, right? Yep.
Yeah.
175.
I mean, I thought it was. I'm going to insult somebody, so forgive me, but I thought it was a crazy price. But now that I found out that it was sold for $100,000 6 years ago,
it was 96,000 like 6 years ago. But I mean, look, it's a surfer cover. The one that 8 has Avengers. Like 12 without Surfer would be half as much, so if not a third as much. So.
Beautiful though, it is beautiful.
Yeah.
I know Namor's on it. That's what makes it beautiful. All right, this is my one get for the from the auction. I made a deal with somebody that if they won this at 10,
unbelievable.
Yeah, I said if for 10K or less, I'll trade you 2 pieces of art for it, and I mean, I just looked at it and it's like, okay, this is peak Perez. It's just, I mean, it's perfect. I mean, what was this, like 1990, 91 or something?
Yeah.
I don't remember. And
90.
Yeah, I mean, it's like between Crisis on Infinite Earths and War of the Gods, Wonder Woman, and Infinity Gauntlet. And I looked at it and I was like, I couldn't believe it.
Congrats.
Thanks. Yeah.
I mean, if you went to Perez, if he were still with us, and you asked for a commission, he would charge you $5,000, $6,000 just to get the images that you have as a commission. To get a published piece with these characters, wow!
Somebody gave me crap.
Well, let's tell everyone what this is. So Who's Who was a 3-ring binder, and you would buy these things.
Yeah.
Two pages front and back, and it was 3-hole punched, and you'd use this as a way to collect all of them. And I think they did one for 91, 92, 93. It's not on my cap, but I actually have one of these. I have the Brian Bolland one.
Oh, nice.
Has the front and back. You see the images of the front, but the back cover has the same people, same characters, but you see them from the back. I think that's so cool. But the villains, you have the villains here. That's right.
Yeah, I loved it. I talked to Glenn, had it like I think 8 years ago, and I talked to him about it, but I couldn't pull the trigger. And then Bashara had it more recently. I don't know if he put it in or if he sold it. And I don't know, I was telling somebody that I got it and I was being chided about it. So I started second guessing myself, like, wait, I think I got a good deal. And it's like, no matter what, I loved it. But I was just like, what am I missing here?
Right. You kind of think, is this pre-printed or is it like one of those?
Yeah. No, well, what am I missing here that I'm getting chided? And, I don't know why. This is one of the few times I feel like I needed affirmation on something I picked up.
Nice. It was, again, buried in the auction. It was like near the end of the session. And
Exactly. Matter of fact, Felix last night was like, I'll give you the 10 grand just for the front cover.
See, that's what I remember. They used to be 2 pieces in the past. I remember dealers had the back piece, and that wasn't all that much. Honestly, I feel like displaying them together like this isn't exactly the best way, even though it makes perfect sense. That front panel with all the heroes coming at you, it's so strong. If you separate it again, you just keep them next to each other and let people look at that first piece on its own. You've got your 10K value right there. I agree with Felix 100%.
I actually would. I mean, I would display it just as is. I love the fact that it's a front and back. And
what I love about the back cover the most is the fact that it's very playful with the Joker with the cards and Mixoplex. It's I mean, odd having Darkseid in a kind of a jovial piece, but listen, the Flash and Green Lantern are so perfect on this. Like I said, I didn't really I wanted it because I loved it, but for some reason I was second guessing myself for once.
Honestly, it's because we all learned to read left to right. If you just saw the superheroes first, it really communicates better that way. But 100%, you're not going to get look. You're a Perez collector. You know what 10K gets you in this market for Perez art. That's plenty. That's plenty.
I was foolish. Listen, I was being insecure about being a little bit like, what did I do? So I'm listen, no matter what, I'm gonna love it. It is just, to me, it is just so perfect. And it doesn't have Aquaman, which makes it better. It has Hawkman instead of Aquaman. No, I'm kidding about that.
It has Flash, that you like that. Green Lantern.
Exactly. Flash and Green Lantern are perfect. So I really felt like, I mean, look, Bashar had this for 26,500, which I don't know if he put it in or whoever he sold it to put it in, but 10,000 was my limit, and it stopped at 10,000. I couldn't even believe it. So, well, thank you guys. I appreciate the
good job, Nick.
Reaffirmation.
And
again.
it tells you, like, there's some things that people may have just brushed over because they didn't really understand it. If you take your time to see what's in the lot and it fits your collecting interest and you get it, it's a lot of great value.
All right, I pulled a bunch of Miller because I'll never be able to afford any more Miller in my life. So I figured I'd drive myself crazy. I do think that this is, I mean, I just think this is such a high price. It is such a high price.
We've been saying that year after year.
Yeah, I'm going to throw that in the McFarland Spider-Man camp where, your chance to get an okay example kind of went out the window. It's all one and done, and if something actually looks good, then it's doubly one and done. And I'm not surprised by the results on this one or any of the Daredevil stuff that came up today. It's just where we are with Miller,
And at the end of the day, I'm just really happy with what I have. I can't complain. Complaining would be stupid. I have some nice pieces. I'm lucky, and I'm glad I bought them when I did. I mean, but I mean, it is a splash. It is a splash. And what issue is this again? Is this 170?
177.
177.
Which is right when it would have had Miller pencils underneath.
Pre-79, 179 was all Miller.
Yeah, this wouldn't have been layouts. These are full Miller pencils.
Yeah,
I get it. It makes sense.
I mean, I got to tell you, I'm not being funny when I say this. I've got the color guides to Daredevil 181. I've got the complete book. And somebody offered me 30 grand for it, and I was like, "Wow, that's a high price," but I'm not letting go of this.
That is the Miller market. I mean, and Miller has less half the issues than Byrne X-Men had on its run.
Yeah,
if you just count up to 179, and plus, hey, it is a splash. And no, he doesn't have his. It'd probably be
title
better
page.
if he had his cowl on, right? Not the open face.
It does have Stick. I mean, and I'm not being funny when I say that either. I mean, Stick is a cool character in the series, and it is like Daredevil relearning everything. So, this is like after that issue where it was like he was envisioning himself fighting his father and everything. So.
Yeah.
It's a great page, and it leads right into 181.
That's right.
So
you'll get your Miller DD.
I'm fine.
He's got his Miller DD.
I'm fine. I'm happy. I just love talking about Frank. I love his art. So this is a great page. I still think this was higher than I thought it would go for. I mean, look, when I say higher than I thought it was going for, right now in my mind, good Daredevil pages by Miller are going for like $80,000.
I don't see that. That's been years. It's been years since that was true. Now.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, 2 years ago. Well, 2 years ago
is 150.
2 years ago, and this slipped between the cracks. There was the page with Daredevil, Elektra, and Bullseye. They weren't in the same page. They weren't in the same place, but that went for like 60 something. So, and that fell between the cracks, trust me. But yeah, I guess you're right. I guess I need to open up my mind.
Also, this page, I mean, you talk about what Miller brought to comics narrative and design was these thin panels, action sequence where they're busting out. He's coming out of the panels, literally.
Yeah,
I think this is classic Miller. You look at this; it's a battle scene with those thin panels across the page. It screams Miller DD almost more than a splash does.
Hey, Alberto, you would pick all Captain America, so don't chide me for picking Miller. Except for the Strange Tale, since it wasn't the real Captain America.
You see this, and just imagine what a nice Daredevil Bullseye battle is going to go for now, because this is
an insane amount of money
that you're going to get. But I mean,
but Nick, you said it's right. It's one and done with these things. I mean, if you're going to pay up, you pay up because you don't have to buy another one.
exactly.
No, of course not. Oh no.
All right, next.
All right. Well, speaking of the Wolverine,
oh, there it is.
There you go.
I'm not used to these going for this much money, but it's the new world order. You know, it's the NWO.
No. This is different from the Daredevils. Okay, I always understood there was always that mystique around Miller's Daredevil run, and I get that. And by the way, I love the Wolverine miniseries.
Yeah.
These pages didn't used to be like this. I remember when Daredevil Miller stuff was running, and this stuff, Miller's tertiary. Yeah, there was the idea of a page that wasn't Wolverine fighting ninjas, going for big bucks, just wasn't a thing. I myself am really stretching my mind to wrap around that these things. I mean, what did it sell for? Something like 100
grand. It broke 100.
100 grand. The Daredevil stuff, I get it. I know guys who are out there would be thrilled to blow 100K on a good Daredevil piece. Who is throwing 100K on good? Not that's a good page. That Wolverine page. I'm not dumping on it, but for 100K,
just wait till one of those key.
I wouldn't be happy.
With the claws out.
Oh, forget.
There's only 4 of these things, and
yeah, that's the whole thing. This was the real.
Could you imagine what a good one will sell for?
But if you're the buyer,
crazy.
If you look at the image of Wolverine, he's not in costume, but like if you look at how it resembles the Wolverine 3 cover, maybe there's some ties there. The whole it's all about the setting, right? So this isn't necessarily action page, but it does bring out that whole Japanese signs.
It does.
I know, but look, I'm not dumping on the page. It's a good page, but 100K.
I know. I honestly thought this was going to be. I honestly thought this was going to be 60. That's where my head was at. So when it going into the auction, it was at like 77. I was like, I don't know that this is going to go for too much more than this. So maybe 100 grand isn't too much more. But I mean, look,
there are only 4 issues of these, and
it was the first Marvel miniseries of an X-Men character. When
this
came out,
Claremont and Miller teaming up for this,
and Rubenstein,
special,
and Rubenstein. But I mean, again, it's like that's the one thing it had going for it, outside of the beautiful art, is that this is the first X-Men miniseries. Like the Bizarre Adventures was the first those characters were outside of being in like Marvel Team Up or Marvel 2-in-1 or whatever. But this is, I mean, God bless, God bless.
I just tell you, you're gonna look back when if Key Page comes out, it'll continue to rise. I think Miller's hot.
Yep.
I thought this was interesting because it's just really cool. It's a great image, and we never know how much of it really is Bob Kane in the world.
And how much is that heritage employee that always holds these signs? She's worth 25K just by holding it.
I know, right?
What are the odds? What are the odds that she's like 4'2"?
No, we've seen her lift up like a whole bunch of stuff. It's usually the oversized pieces, but man,
I got to be honest. Whenever I see a Batman piece by Bob Kane, and it is more than the most basic outline, I know the ones that look like Bob Kane. They're the ones that are totally flat, like almost like Egyptian hieroglyphics kind of perspective, and it's just the cowl and the mouth and those things. Okay, I believe that's probably Bob Kane. I look at this. Look, officially, I'm sure Bob Kane signed it, but there was always other people. This is a good artist. Whoever drew this.
For collectors out there, you have to recognize there's a lot of
This is too good to be Bob.
Just for other collectors, there's a lot of Kane stuff out there that's not done by Kane. He had other artists basically do the art and actually sign his name as well, because he was
very famous.
Years. But if you get something in the early 70s and it's part of something where it's a charity auction or something where I think the notes say that this was gifted from him I mean, in the age where he could have perhaps drawn it, then you start to think, do you really have a
guys? Look at what Marcus
Kane
is saying. Look at what Marcus is saying.
What do you say, Mark?
I saw Bob draw this at my house. Bob stayed at my house that week just to draw this. I don't with Marcus. I don't know if he's kidding or serious.
I would have to think. I kind of look. I just say
no. The muscles on his arm and the way the cowl is. I didn't think it was Kane. I mean, really, the cowl.
No, I wish I could point, but look at the way the cowl meets his arm. You see, like the shading. I never saw Kane do anything like that.
Yeah.
Well, part of the reason why I brought up the Batman 10-page that had that wonderful vignette, wonderful cover image down the bottom right, that was 100,000, and that's just that's a 40,000 more than this piece, but you're getting a verified Kane drawn Golden Age 40s Batman and Robin piece.
Well, all I'll say is Michael Finn agrees with me, and if Finn agrees with me, how can I be wrong?
All right, Michael.
Well, I don't know if you guys know this, and I'll digress for like a minute and a half. The whole thing about Bob Kane and Batman and Siegel and Schuster on Superman, Siegel and Schuster were trying to do as much work as possible and be as part of it as possible. Bob Kane had the equivalent of an NDA that he couldn't tell anybody that he wasn't working on everything. And Bob was like, that's fine. I just want the money. I mean, literally, that was his opinion. You don't even have to get me to promise not to say anything in the contract. So, I mean, that's the whole thing. Like I said, I didn't think it was Bob. I just thought it was interesting, and I thought I would pick it.
And it went for 62 and a half.
It went to 62. Yeah. I mean, and it's unsigned. Is that right? I don't see it.
No, it's signed.
Oh, no, right, it's signed.
Okay, it is. Sorry.
It's just really good. I hate to say
it. It is. It's too good.
Yeah.
Oh, I'm sorry. I have to spoil this one for you, Nick.
Don't worry about it. We talked about it. Next.
Yes, we did.
I mean, I picked this because for obvious reasons, it's Vampirella, and she's falling in love with an alien. She's in outer space. She doesn't need something to breathe. He does. I don't know. It's beautiful. I think this went for. I mean, it felt. I don't know, man. It felt a little high, but
what did it go for?
55.
That seems like a lot. That does, but I really have to recuse myself when we start talking about this stuff. Vampirella is out of my wheelhouse. It's certainly a striking example. I can see that much.
It is.
Well, there's also the theme with the Mars attacks with the alien in a glass space helmet, both of which get pretty high prices realized, right?
That is true.
Actually, since we're looking at Warren stuff, I've actually got a few Warren covers here. I was going to show you guys, but another time.
All the covers of Warren were painted. Is that right? All of them are painted.
The magazine run, yes.
Okay. Vampy.
Man, it's weird having contacts in, but needing to wear reading glasses when you have contacts on. So, like I said, I felt like this was a little high. I mean, I should be like, oh, that's a great deal because we own Vampirella. But I looked at it. I was like, oh, let me get a feel for this. All right, next. This one was a little bit of a topic of debate. Saying the first full Bishop appearance, and it was touched on earlier outside of this show, and. It's kind of like that page is not even like my favorite Will's art. Look at the way those mouths are open, It's I don't know. It was
this from his first appearance? This is second appearance.
First full appearance. Full appearance.
So that debate, like as a comic art collector, the fact that it's his full appearance or his partial appearance, it really shouldn't matter, right? Like. It's odd that as comic art collectors we would attribute value whether they appeared in 20 of the pages in the issue or just 8 of them. If you got them on, if the character you want or the scene is in the comic, it should be the value.
Yeah, look, Bishop is a major character. There was a lot, he's been part of a lot.
He's probably the most in terms of Wilson's contributions to the X-Men. Bishop is probably the #1 character.
I would agree with you there. I would agree with you wholeheartedly. So, like I said, I wanted to get a feel. It is a nice page. My favorite image, if you scroll down a little bit more, Bill, honestly, the best image is Storm. I mean, it just throws me off the way all the mouths are open of all the guys, I mean, look how long those mouths are. It's like they're being pulled down,
It's the 90s, man. They were
Layfield had his shut mouth grimace, and then Wills has his open mouth gaping.
Yeah. I think it was a strong price, but the person who has it hopefully loves it, and that's all that matters. So
yeah, first appearance collectors strike
I
again.
think so. Yeah. They want the art. Yeah.
Enough.
Next,
it's a subset of our hobby, that is for certain.
I do like the Storm, Nick. You're right.
The Storm is my favorite part.
I have one Portasio page. It's all Storm. I love it. I think he drew Storm really well too. Where are we going to? Oh, the McFarland MCP.
Yeah, no, this I was surprised because this only sold a few years ago, but this actually went up in price. But I credit that to McFarland just being hot. Usually you put something back in the same auction within a few years, it does a little bit less. I personally think this is a great cover. I went after it a couple of years ago, and when it came back in again, I was like, oh man, I wish I was in a position to go after this. I bluntly just really I like Shadowcat on this a lot, but I just love the way, for some reason, he drew the Black Panther's face and the way it's coming out from the side. I just thought this was a really nice composition.
That's right.
It's a nice cover, and definitely got the bump from McFarlane, because this came from the right period of McFarlane.
Right.
If you have like an Infinity Inc. cover, it's going to get less of that rising tide than something that he did for Marvel during the period. And the main figure of Shadowcat is very nice. It's got all of his stylish touches of the time. It makes sense that it would go up, but not like the Spider-Man pages did.
No, it didn't jump up a lot. I think it jumped up 10 grand or so. So
that's 25% up to 30%. That's good.
But that basically means the person broke even when you think about it.
Sad but true.
If it's the same person.
Yeah. You got to figure those auction fees. But hey, a lot of collectibles, when people get into a lot of collectibles, it's just understood. I mean, maybe there are people buying Labubus thinking they're going to make a fortune off of it. But most practical people have to stop and say, well, hey, I'm buying this. If it's worth the same amount 5 years down the road, you do lose a little bit of money, but you enjoyed owning it for that period of time. We're spoiled in the world of comic art, especially if you've been around as long as you guys have, because, that rising tide has come in, but it's always been the exception. This was a decent enough buy, going up 30% over a few years. Pretty impressive, all things considered.
Yeah, I think a lot of DPS collectors like the fact they get twice the art and a bigger wall presence. I think wraparound covers, because the other side of the wraparound is usually less important or less attentive drawn with the less characters than the front. I think wraparound covers kind of represent some really strong value, or at least the ability to get much more art for the money, almost discounting the back cover, and you're getting, here Black Panthers. That's a marquee. It's a more important character than who's on the front.
Yep.
I like the claws too. That looks really cool. I didn't realize that before. The claws on.
The claws are great. Wow, that's a nice little.
Well, that's not the Black Panther. That's the other villain. No, you see the snarling animal.
No, that's the other villain, but they are still beautiful.
Yeah, no, well done.
Yeah, I mean, the eye and the teeth behind Shadowcat is very subtle but beautiful.
Yep. Yep. Now what do we? Okay. So here you go, Nick.
Yes.
Oh wow.
So for some reason, I thought some people picked the Planetary #1. If you want to pull that up, Bill, I'll talk about this in the Planetary #1. This is a piece I was going to go after. So the story behind this is, all right. So the John Cassaday auction brought in over $300,000, and the family is walking away with like 280. Just the John Cassaday auction, plus the pieces that were sold in this big auction. So it worked out well for them. Like I said, if you pull up the Planetary, I'll talk a little bit about that. The thing about this cover, why I really wanted it, and I wanted to buy it, but it was better that it went in the auction for the family's sake. And if I could afford it, I could afford it. And if I couldn't, I couldn't. The story behind this is that we went after the Lone Ranger license 3 times. The first 2 times we passed on it. The first time they wanted the villains to be werewolves, which is why the Lone Ranger needed silver bullets. We passed. We're like, we're not doing Buffy in the West. The second time we went after the Lone Ranger, they wanted the Lone Ranger and Tano to be women. And we were like, yeah, that's not Ranger and Tano. And then when I read this comic, this is the torture of William Leather. And when I read this comic, I said, this is the effing Lone Ranger. I called John and asked him, can I send this to the rights holder to tell them this is what we want to do? And, you know, you never got John on the phone. He called me back like the next day. He wasn't much of a phone person, but he not only loved the idea, he wanted to be involved with the covers and the plot and the whole series. He wanted to help pick the artist, the colorist, nothing he'd ever done. So to me, this was a really meaningful cover. And when Dino and I did a show together showing some of our art that wasn't on CAF, I showed the page that John gave me where it's William Leather going after them. If they want the silver, I'm going to give them the silver, because in this comic, they killed all the Rangers to get the silver mine. So William Leather takes the silver, melts it down into bullets, and then he puts mercury or poison on them so that even if he shoots to wound, they then suffer and die. I mean, this was a little bit darker than what we did with the Lone Ranger, and I really wanted to go after it, but it went above what I could budget right now with everything going on. So I'm happy for the family. I'm happy for Tara and Robin. They got more money than I would have thought. So I'm glad that they just put it in here. This Planetary #1, I know John turned down as much as $50,000. He never wanted to sell it. It was absolutely something he just wanted to keep forever. I think it went for 45 or 46 plus juice, like, you know, 5 or 4,000 less than what he wanted. But Heritage was very kind and gave the family the entire hammer price. They only kept the buyer's premium. But this is historic, so whoever got it, you got a piece of history, and you got it at, what's that say? Is that 57.5 or 52.5?
52.5.
Oh, 52.5. All right. So the family made like 8,000 less. That's a shame. I mean, seriously, it is. That sucks. But I mean, it's still good. And somebody got it at the price that John turned down like 10 years ago. So congrats to the person who got it, because even though 52.5 is a lot of money, I think they got a deal. So congrats.
And you said they raised 300,000 for the family.
The auction did over 320,000, so the family gets like 273,000.
That's good to hear.
And everybody, hit that thumbs up. Thank you, Antoine. I can't believe I hadn't thought about this.
Here, and I threw in your cubert, right? There you go.
Oh,
there we go.
I really wanted to go after this. This was another one of those where I said to somebody, if you can get it for, I threw out a ridiculous price. Apparently, I said, if you could get it for 15 grand or less, I'll trade you this Ramita Jr. cover that I have that he wants. I said, just, 15 grand or less. And it popped so quickly when the auction went live. And I was, because it was at 9,500, I think. I was like, all right, maybe, maybe this went as high as it would, because it really went up on the day before, and then it stopped. And I mean, I can't complain because I got really lucky years ago. But I think it's just, you've got 3 worlds. You've got Superman, you've got Ultraman, you've got Dr. Fate. You've got so much going on. It's a really nice cover. I mean, most of the characters are small, and the headshots, I think, are all stats.
Not all of them. It's mixed. It's like half and half.
Oh, okay.
Something like that. But yeah, no, it's a recurring theme with Justice League where they do their annual crossovers. It's always 2 or 3 different alternate Earths with the headshots going up on the sides. This is one of those. It's like its own little mini genre. And I do see a premium for covers that pull that off. I think I don't know, I don't think of Joe Kubert when I think of those covers so much. So this isn't the one example I thought would be 30, but this is the type of Justice League cover that you do see run, because a bunch of them don't. They don't all knock them out of the park, but these whole crossover Earth events tend to be the ones that pull numbers in. And 30 is a little bit more than I thought it was going to go for, but a little bit more means I thought it would be 24 or something like that.
Still a lot of strong value on the DC side, particularly with all the heroes represented, right? If this were an Avengers cover, 12 heroes, you'd hard pressed to get.
Well, the thing,
and I always love those roll call. The roll call things are awesome. They love them.
I mean, the thing about this is, and this is going to circle back. I'm not. Take this with a grain of salt. This is one of my favorite storylines. But Weiss Auctions 8 years ago first started selling the Cubert art from the family. And I don't know how many people here remember Kevin Brogan. He was a great guy. I was going through a bad time. I was actually stuck in bed for 3 weeks from a back spasm that wouldn't stop. I could barely move. And my father was dying both at the same time. And I finally was getting better the day of this auction. And I asked Kevin if he wouldn't mind bidding for me, because I was literally going to rehab just to start working on getting my muscles back in my legs. And I got the call that my father was dying. So I had to run to my parents' house. And so, like, for me, it's like I ended up getting that cover. I mean, relatively speaking, cheap. It was like $5,000 back then. And I thought, wow, it'd be really nice to have another one if I could. But yeah.
Why'd you even send a price either? Why'd you just say, if you buy this cover, regardless, I'll trade you that JRJR?
Well, because the JRJR cover is worth about $15,000. So.
Yeah, but if the person wanted to buy the right, I just thought if what if it sold for 18 and he wanted?
Nick, speaking of Kevin Brogan, I got something from his estate that I believe he got from you. Does this piece look familiar?
Yes, he did get that from me. Yes, he did. Yeah, that's beautiful.
See,
again, that's a roll call of like 12 people, 12 characters.
There, see, no stats.
Cool. Yeah, Kevin was such a nice guy. When he told me that was like, I don't think he used the word grail, but he said that was one of his favorite pieces. I was just like, yeah, for you, Kevin, sure, I'll do it. We did a trade. It wasn't a cash deal, but it made him really happy. And to me, that was nice. That he was. Listen, what you got to know about Kevin is Kevin was very successful in life. But this is a guy who would go to conventions on the weekends and help the Hero Initiative at conventions. You know, he was one of those guys. He did it for the love of the industry. He never looked for recognition. He never looked for money. He's the kind of guy that you want to help if you can. And it wasn't like he needed much help. But when he said he really wanted that splash, I was like, we'll figure something out. You know,
was he primarily DC collector?
He was.
Oh yeah. His handle on the CGC boards was DC Man.
Yeah. And the interesting thing is he actually had the one of the things that I got in trade, and these weren't going for that much at the time, was the Adventure Comics cover to the Dead Man story that I at the time had almost a complete issue, but I was missing a page. So I ended up getting the cover because I've got the Showcase unpublished cover and the Adventure Comics cover. So ended up all at once. So like I said, I really wanted this. I mean, I'm just gonna, I'm gonna end up just selling him the Ramita Jr. for the 15K. And if it would have went for 12K and he would have saved 3K, I wouldn't have cared. At the end of the day, it would have been like I got something. But hey, congrats to whoever got this. This is historic. I mean, look, and when you look at the George Perez one that was on Justice League that went, how much did that go for? Didn't that go for like $130,000 or something a couple years ago?
I thought there's two JLA1 pages in this auction.
No, not JLA1, JLA 204 or 205.
Okay.
Cubert did the All-Star Squadron pages, and Perez did the Justice League pages. It was also an estate sale. It was like a December of many years ago. It was only 3 years ago, maybe. I can't remember, but it definitely stood out.
Okay.
I just rambled. I'm sorry that I rambled.
No, I shouldn't have pulled out the splash. We got too far.
I'm giving Alberto a reason to give us a thumbs up.
Alberto.
Right. See, look at that. I mean, Cap is knocked out, apparently, but he is featured prominently on this cover, Alberto. So please give us that thumbs up right now.
And that is his real. That's the real Cap too.
That is the real Cap. I think is that the Maurice Evern one?
Yeah. It is the Maurice Evern.
I think Alberto won that.
42.5. There you go. Alberto says he did get it there.
Oh, nice, congratulations.
Congratulations. Super.
There you go, Bill. See, you got the instinct. You knew exactly which one to pull, too.
I did.
Man,
so here, I only picked two pieces to talk about, and they're nothing, tremendous. But I did pick the Cockrum 94 page because, I thought,
very cool.
Who doesn't? If you're an X-Men fan, you want to get something from 94 giant size. I thought this was a great page. The panels with the team in it are great, especially the lower left one with Storm and Wolverine, but still you get Nightcrawler and Colossus, Thunderbird, and the Professor and
Sunfire, who only appears in
right.
One issue. Did he leave after this issue? Yeah,
he did. Yeah,
he left after this page. Are you kidding me?
He's out. He's out of the story.
See you later, X-Men.
I feel like this was a good price. I feel like the person who got this got a good price.
Oh yeah. When you think about how much you love that Bizarre Adventures cover, that was your little personal grail. Even though my heart loves it so much, the truth is, if you have the same thing, the Bizarre Adventure versus an X-Men 94 with tons of characters on it for the same price, my heart goes with the Bizarre Adventures, but my head is telling me grab that 94 page.
Well,
10 times out of 10.
Yeah, I agree, but I'd still rather have the Bizarre Adventures cover.
Sure, your heart would want it. Your heart would want it. Your heart.
But I do want to. I would like a page from 94 as well, and I'd be happy to take this one for 60 if I could afford it. I just thought,
Well, I think it's what you said. It's like after the Bizarre Adventures, you're not going to get a chance to get another one, right? There's only one cover, whereas there are a few 94 pages, and if you wait long enough, they'll come up, right? So you get another chance at them.
Yeah, but 60 is a good price.
But historically, this and GS Giant Size X-Men 1.
Well, what I really like about this page, I mean, it's just there's you can feel even though it's through the mask, like the frustration that Sunfire has, and the hand motions are just so great. I mean, it's subtle things, and Storm and Wolverine in the bottom panel are just so well done. I mean,
I actually like when a team interior pages are just them by themselves, whether it's in a danger room or just here, they're just talking to each other. There's no wasted panels. There's not like a villain or kind of setting. It's just all characters. It's really a.
And really, what are the fight pages in '94? Maybe
at
at
the
the end
very
of the
end,
book,
the
they
two
fight a couple of.
pages
And what are they
against the
doing?
plane.
Fighting the unmen? Screw
Yeah.
the unmen.
Yeah,
exactly.
You would rather have this than Nightcrawler jumping on top of the Frogman at the end of the book. These are the pages. These are the pages.
By the way,
going to disagree with you on that one.
Yeah, no, this was a good pick. What else did you pick, Bill?
Well, here, I'll show you. Here was just because I can. Here was a pick from Halprin's as well. This is a 94 page right there. So if you wanted a page, that there you go. That middle panel on the last one.
That's the panel.
That's classic,
isn't it? That's a beauty. Yeah, I stared at that one for a while too because that's just such a nice piece right there.
What do you feel, Bill, between 94 and the Giant Size X-Men? Do you consider both of them kind of the genesis? That's the right word, right?
Yeah, I mean, if you're going for the big one, you got to go with Giant Size, and those pages are just tough because there's a lot of nice battle pages in that, and I mean that I'd go with that one in a heartbeat. But still, having a page from 94 would be pretty special.
94 is still pretty cool.
Yeah, and one more question, Bill. Like, when you thought about the Bizarre Adventures, and let's say you were able to get that in the 40s that you thought was in the high, is that one that you think it's so nostalgic to you and important that you'd be thinking about what are the 4 to 6 pieces that you'd sell in order to make that happen?
Oh, I already had it figured out.
Okay.
Yeah,
So
I would have actually given up the. I have a really nice Daniel Klaus page. I would have sold that. I have a nice. I probably would have considered selling the end page to 150, and and if I couldn't sell that one, then I probably would have sold the Bizarre Adventures Cockrum, the recreations of the Nightcrawler and Phoenix piece, because I get a lot of inquiries about that, so I know that I probably could have done pretty well. But yeah, I started planning it out.
I think that's the reality of today's market. I think you were talking about Nick Felix in the podcast. He was talking about his acquisition of the Swamp Thing 21 cover. And he says, these are the 6 pieces that I'm going to sell to get it. I think that's the reality these days. If you're going to go after something that's bigger, you kind of start thinking, okay, this is a handful of pages or pieces that I'm going to let go in order to make that happen.
This was an incredibly strong price. Oh my God.
Yeah.
It's beautiful. It's got the colors that you think of Ditko, but man.
Yeah, Alex Ross's modern stuff, when it gets resold at auction, it usually sells for a little less than what it took to pull it out.
But the newer stuff, the vintage.
But if it clicks just right, there are modern Alex Ross collectors who are looking for Ross. Yeah,
I actually bought this off the newsstand when I found out it was Alex Ross. I just thought I hadn't seen one. I hadn't seen him, in a while.
I just thought this was a strong price. It's an absolutely stunning, piece by Alex, like most are. I mean, but there are other Doctor Strange covers that have sold privately and around, for in like the 15-16 range. So this is a beautiful cover, but I just thought it was cool to see the price be what it was, because a lot of times when they're marketing Alex's work new, they were in the 30s, 35s.
This one,
and so it's cool to see a newer piece of his sell for that.
Exceed that.
And you're right, and exceed that. I mean, it's got the whole Art Nouveau thing going for it. It is stunning.
By the way, 4 likes to 50, guys. Come on, 4 more likes.
How's that? We got 85 people watching right now. We should have 85 thumbs up by now.
We're not doing a good enough job selling.
We're not.
At least.
But that was the only other piece that I had picked to talk about. Other than I was going to let Dan talk about the Preacher 2 cover, just because I know he loves Preacher, and it did pretty well. Okay, Dan. Hey, one last one there. There you go.
Oh, we're finally making it through. They had the cover and the recreation to cover 1. The recreation to 1 is really interesting, because the guy who wound up buying all the covers made the deal with Fabry after Fabry already sold the one. So he made him do a recreation so he could have the full set. The recreation to 1 sold for $15,000. And for the quality of the paintwork, I thought that was a pretty good deal. Now we're coming to the end of the collection. There's only a few Preacher covers left to come out. This is the number 2.
Is this first appearance of Saint of Killer?
It is. It is.
Well, first cover appearance.
He appeared.
He shows up in number 1, but I mean, this is the establishing kind of cover. Very memorable. 42K is a lot of money for what I would not consider one of his better covers. But you see the good ones are going for around 50 these days. This is the number 2. And, you know, once this collection peters out, the good ones aren't going to be coming up again.
No.
You had your chance to get a cheap one a year ago, a year and a half ago. You know, now we've gone through all of them. There's only a few left. And I'm just going to start repeating myself if I go on and on about it. But now that we've made it to the end, we're seeing 40s, 50s, and it makes sense. You know, this was a properly handled collection and great stuff.
You like the fact that it was spaced over.
I like that they started it. Well, first of all, they had like 50 or 60.
But they started with the less desirable covers.
That's what they let people get their beaks wet for like $3K on the covers that people. And as more people start buying these things, then it's like, well, maybe I can get multiples, or maybe I can upgrade this so-so one to a nicer one that's coming up. They've kind of been matching the market. I think this was rolled out very well, and I'm very glad I got a couple of covers before all of this happened. Otherwise, it would have been a lot tougher. So yeah, it was great. And yes, you're right. Always easy to pull out a Preacher cover on me. Thanks, Bill.
Exactly. Hey, my pleasure.
By the way, I dug up some painted covers real quick if you guys want to see them from Warren.
Sure.
Oh, wow.
Oh.
It's alive.
Telltale Heart, maybe?
Wait till you see the next one.
That looks like Nick. That's on Bainbridge board, big thick board, right? Like
it is on very thick board.
Yeah.
And this one's even thicker.
Yeah. Those things are hard to get in the Mylar.
What's that?
It's the creature from Back Lagoon.
No. Inspired by. Looks a little like a slee stack.
Oh, and wait till you see the last one.
He's got several.
The Hunchback of Notre Dame.
Yeah, Quasimodo.
Yeah, I was pulling these out. I was cleaning up some stuff. I was like, I should pull these.
Those are enormous paintings.
They are. They're almost as big as my mouth.
God, Nick, you got to invite us over to check out your collection sometime.
One day, once I get past this diamond crap, we'll have one of the artist get-togethers down here. I just got to get past this. Hopefully by friggin' February or March, this will be over, but who knows?
All right, I'm going to show this. This isn't on calf, but this is that
show and tell night. All right.
Can you see it? I don't know if it'll appear on my.
Oh, it's totally blank because
no, you disappeared.
Oh no. Okay. Can you see it?
You disappeared.
Beautiful, guys. That is.
No, there you go. Yes, now we can see it.
This is Bolland, Batman Joker. It's one of my favorite pieces. I just kept it pure private for years.
Is that a commission?
No, this is the Who's Who binder cover.
Oh my God!
Look at the Joker on the one side.
Yeah.
And then
Nick, you got the Perez. You got the Perez. Nick, and Dino got the Bolland.
Yeah.
And that was not $10,000. That's for sure.
No, it wasn't.
Congrats, Dino.
This one from a collector who had it, and it's my only Bolland piece, so I got it. Anyway, so I was glad
around the room. I got nothing to show off. You guys all pulled out great art, and I got nothing here.
You got plenty. You got plenty.
I don't have anything within hand's reach, though. That's all I'm saying. I know I got okay stuff, but nothing nearby.
But congrats, Nick, on the Who's Who. That's
thanks. Marcus is giving me crap. He's like, "Are these going to be the $28 pieces on Friday?" No.
Wait, you said there's $7 pieces.
Yeah. So yeah, Friday show we're gonna have a few pages at $7.
Nice. Shipping is 10,000 though. But just,
no, it's not. No, I'm not doing a Marcus where the Century page is $1, but it's $124,999 shipping. No, we've got a few pages at $7 because it'll be the 7th anniversary of my dad's passing. A few pages at 10, a few pages at 25, and a few pages at $28 since it's the 28th. So it's our Black Friday bonanza. So, and I'm not selling 3-ring binders either, Marcus.
Wonderful.
Well, so we don't have another signature auction until
January,
late January, I think it is. Okay. So we won't probably have opportunity to get on another show, but we'll put it on the schedule, and I hope you guys all have a fantastic Thanksgiving.
Yeah, happy Thanksgiving, everyone.
Yeah, and Merry Christmas, Happy Kwanzaa, Happy New Year. In case I don't talk to any of you guys.
Tarot cards, just do Elvira tarot cards, Marcus. Jesus, him with the tarot cards. It's on Kickstarter. Go to Kickstarter.
Yeah, and I will try to get up to the next Comic Card Con. I'm leaning that way. I know that's in the spring, but letting you guys know.
The Jersey one.
The Jersey
one? Oh yeah, Bill, come up to the New Jersey. That's our backyard. We will have this huge.
Well, that's what
for you.
I'm thinking. Let's start planning something.
Let me know if you're actually showing up. We'll set up. We'll do an event. It'll be awesome.
I would enjoy it. I haven't been to that show in I think like 9 years, so it's been a while. So, okay, cool. Well, as always, I learn a lot.
Thank you, everybody.
Thank you, everyone.
Get to hear about my disappointments.
Thank you for joining us this evening.
Exactly. Right. So everybody have a fantastic night, and we'll see you again soon.
Take care, everybody.
Happy Thanksgiving, kids.